G'day there guys, it's your Aussie Hubby Markee, back at it again with another r/entitled parents video. Now, if you love me as much as I love you, you know what to do. Mosey on over to that old like button and tackle it like Steve Irwin would a crocodile. Maybe even chuck an Aussie flag down if you're staying a while. Now, with that out of the way, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for some good content. Entitled mother asks me to stop dancing all over her son. Okay guys, so this happened a few years ago. My friend and I bought tickets to a concert featuring a lot of cool artists. We couldn't believe that it was only $35. Mind you, the main artist is a former child star from Disney, and the concert was full of young teens, and a lot of them were with their parents. Kind of lame, we thought, but okay. We were determined to enjoy the concert. Fast forward, after all opening acts were over, the child star comes out, and it's actually quite exciting. She sings pop songs, big surprise, and a lot of them are big hits. We were having fun and dancing and letting our inner teen out. It was a great time. Then comes entitled mother, taps me on the shoulder and asks me to stop dancing all over her son. Mind you that the kid was a 12-year-old that had obviously not stepped a single toe into puberty yet. He just seemed confused. I was in a foreign country, English is my second language. I couldn't even think of what to say, so I just said, "Sorry, I didn't see him." I told my friend what happened then and there, and she was super protective, so she grabbed me and put me on the other side of her. Now she's next to entitled mother's kid. We carried on like nothing had happened and kept on dancing. Mind you, we weren't swinging our arms profusely or twerking or anything that could either hit people around us or be considered inappropriate for a children's concert. Entitled mother started tramping at my friend, this time being passive-aggressive and rude to her son. She was so fudging bothered that we were having a good time that she was taking it out on the poor kid. She kept saying, "Careful not to let them touch you," super loud, almost in our ears, all while grabbing him aggressively to move him a bit. She finally confronted us again, but this time she was talking to my friend. Now, my friend's English was way better than mine, and she's not a people pleaser like me. She went on to say that we weren't touching entitled mother's son, and we weren't doing anything wrong. Entitled mother asked us to move, and my friend said we weren't moving. Entitled mother proceeded to say, "If you don't move, I'll knock you over." My friend and I went to find security, because at this point, entitled mother threatened us and wasn't leaving us alone. We then walked the security guard to entitled mother and her kid, and she talked to him. We couldn't hear anything because, well, it was a concert and it was loud as hell, which makes the whole confrontation from earlier even more cringy. And then the security guard asked my friend and I to move. When I looked at entitled mother, she had a gross smirk on her face. That was the end of it. It wasn't a happy ending with entitled mother getting what she deserved. But I'm sure she will if she keeps up with that attitude. Screw you, entitled mother from hell. I hope your son grows up to be better than you. How dare you have fun around my child? This is unacceptable! Why the frick do you sound like Lemon Grab from Adventure Time right now? Probably because that's something he says. How dare you dance at a concert? If that kid remembers what happened there and he has good friends or a good teacher, he might make the entitled mother embarrass herself when he grows up. Small consolation, but you were probably asked to move because she was a Karen and he didn't feel like fighting her. Dragging out two older folks is easier than dragging out Karen and her squealing kid. Next time, let her assault you first and make sure other people see it. That's what I thought too. I 100% would let her assault me just so she would be the one getting kicked out. No way I would have went to security first if someone said they're gonna knock me over. I would have just let them try and let them be the ones getting kicked out. Can't stand entitled people. And OP says, I was a 22-year-old in an exchange program in the US. It's weird to explain how I was scared of any confrontation with any American. I lived there for 2 years and now live in Canada. And just being more accustomed to North America ways made me less scared. I wish I could go back in time and stand up for my 22-year-old self. And our next post by Deoxynucleus, entitled Mother Doesn't Understand Personal Space. So this happened 2 years ago, But for some reason, I was just thinking of it because I'm bored of doing nothing and decided to post on Reddit. Too true. Our cast are entitled kid, entitled dad, friend, and me. I was at my local swimming pool, and me and my friends were having a blast doing the usual racing, water basketball, water slides, etc. The shrimp kebab, shrimp creole, shrimp gumbo, you can saute it. Sorry, I just wanted to put that in there. After it, we had some pizza. And we headed into the changing rooms. As we went in, 2 of my friends went to the bathroom, and the other one stayed with me, and we got changed on the opposite sides of the locker. As I was taking off my shirt, this annoying little entitled kid comes up to me and stands up on the bench next to me, and I kid you not, just started doing a Fortnite dance. Can't remember which one, don't worry buddy, we don't need to know. Then he says in the most annoying voice possible, "Are you a Jake Pauler?" Fuck off. What? You heard me, do you like Jake Paul? Not wanting to be rude since this kid is like 10. So I'm like, no, sorry. And he's like, what? He then proceeds to start dabbing. Shout out to Buff Helpy. Not paying attention and putting on my normal shirt, I ignore him. Entitled kid says, "I am dabbing on the haters. Do you play Fortnite?" Occasionally, yeah. I really didn't. I just didn't want to see what he would do if I said I did. Okay, you're probably a noob. I have 300 wins, and I can beat you in a 1v1, and I have over 300 confirmed kills, kid. You got nothing on me, buddy. Okay, kid, can you please move? I'm gonna change my pants now. Ha! I bet you don't even have a pee-pee. That's why you're hiding it. I'm caught off guard because this was the last thing that I expected him to do. I'm like, what? Yeah, you're a girl. At this point, it was getting weird, and I only saw one other man. So I'm like, hey, is this your kid? And they're like, yeah, so? Can you tell him to leave me alone? He's really close to me and is making me uncomfortable. Why do you care? It's only a little kid. He's curious at this age. He can do what he wants. Oh, buddy, not in this context, please. No, tell him to go away or I'll leave and get the lifeguard. Hey, you can't do that. This is a free country, man. I can do anything I want, man. Then I can get the lifeguard if your son doesn't get away from me. Fine, what a brat. Come here, entitled kid. I then finished changing and left the locker room without my friend who had been watching and laughing his ass off the entire time. I told my mum about what happened and we both went to tell the front desk people. But I don't know what else happened to them after that. Anyway, I got lucky it didn't escalate further and I just went home and played Call of Duty after that. Bye. Dab, flex. I'm just not going to take those stories seriously, I'm sorry. So if I can do what I want, I can yeet the child into the pool, right? Oh, whoa, hold up, buddy. You missed the important part. He can do whatever he wants, not you. Including touching your pee. Hold up. He likes Jake Paul, he dabs, and he plays Fortnite? He's worse than the Ice Age baby. Yeah, my cringe level was like over 9,000 or more. Stop it. These are all references you guys probably don't understand, and I'm sorry, I'm not gonna talk about them either. We're gonna move on to the next story. And our next post by Fuzzy106. Entitled mother doesn't get that she's not entitled to kittens or my personal space. So I work as a volunteer/adoption coordinator for a local animal rescue group. It's a pretty small organization that I've been with for quite some time now. We don't have our own shelter, but we're partnered with a couple of pet supply chain stores that help us get some of our animals out into the open for people to see, specifically the company where the pets go. Well, in the light of the COVID-19 crisis, and given that our governor issued a shelter-at-home order, we decided that despite the fact that the store was staying open to serve the community, we would be pulling our cats out of the in-store habitat and placing them with fosters until this whole situation calms down. We did this for the safety of our volunteers, and so that we don't create another gathering point where people will undoubtedly smash their faces and hands on the habitat to try and pet the cats through the door. I went in yesterday to meet our foster and to do a deep clean of the habitat itself. I showed up a bit before our foster did, in worn-out gym clothes with my earbuds in. The staff all wear jeans, a store-branded shirt, and a name tag. I decided to get a head start on the cleaning while waiting for the foster to show. I set up the foldable barriers they use for their puppy training classes to prevent people from getting in my way and or accidentally touching cleaning chemicals. The store was mostly empty, but I wanted to be on the safe side. Our story begins, as so many do on this subreddit, with some bitchy Karen flying out of the ether with her spawn in tow. She's like, "Excuse me, does anyone work around here? I've been looking for someone to help me for almost 30 minutes now and I can't find anyone." So I'm like, "I'm sorry about that, ma'am. The staff are all in the front. They must have thought that the store was still empty." Points to the staff. "Oh, look, there they are. Why can't you help me?" "Oh, look, I don't work for the store. I volunteer with the rescue group." So I don't know where everything you're looking for is. Look, the manager over there can help you." Ugh, your generation doesn't understand good customer service at all. Heaven forbid you should ever take out your headphones and help a customer. I can't believe your boss let you wear those in front of customers. Manager, who's a super chill older dude, walks over after seeing entitled mother harassing me and is like, "How can I help you, ma'am?" "Are you the manager?" "Yes." "You should really have a talk with your employee here. He was very rude to me and refused to help me." "He doesn't work here." "What do you mean he doesn't work here? Do you let random people clean the store?" "He's a volunteer for the rescue group we're partnered with. They're responsible for the habitat, not us. I can help you find what you're looking for." "Fine, I'm looking for item for her dog." Manager walks off and listens to her bitch about how the store has no employees around. Knowing this manager, he's probably tuning her out. His staff are all really good at their jobs. They probably legitimately thought that the store was empty. So I went back to cleaning, and our foster mum showed up to pick up the 2 kittens we had in the habitat. We greeted each other and I led her behind my barrier to come pull out the kittens. We made small talk for a few minutes, thanking her for being so understanding about the whole situation, when entitled mother comes back for more. As she approaches, we're pulling the kittens out of their habitat and loading them into the carriers to be taken. Entitled mother's spawn notices and goes, "Mummy, I want to pet the kitty." "Of course, sweetie." Looks at the foster. "Can we hold the kitten, please? My son wants to play with it." "I'm sorry, ma'am, but we're not allowing visitation right now." "You're letting her hold them?" "She's our foster mum. She's being kind enough to home them for a while until this health crisis calms down." "Well, can't we just hold them for a few minutes?" "I'm sorry, but no. We're doing all we can to minimize human contact right now. Any other time I would say yes, but we're trying to be as cautious as possible, especially since it's not confirmed whether or not this disease is transmittable to pets." "I'm not sick." "With all due respect, unless you were tested for COVID in the last 15 minutes, neither of us know that's for sure. I do not wish to jeopardize your health or ours. Please understand." "Ugh, you're being so dramatic. It's just a flu. You should stop listening to the lamestream media and learn some facts." Entitled kid's crying and is like, "I want to pet the kitty. I wanna. Now you made my son cry. Fine, I want to take one of those kittens home myself. How much are they?" "They're $100 each to adopt, but it's not that easy. You need to fill out an application." "Oh, for goodness sake, they're just cats. I can go find one on the street. What's the big deal?" "Well, we want them to go to good homes that will fit their personalities and your lifestyle. We ask for an application and an interview with our adoption coordinator to ensure that nobody winds up in the wrong home." "And you don't think I take care of my animals?" "Not at all, ma'am. This is just our process. We need to make sure that the cats we adopt go to homes where they'll do well in, and that the family that takes them will mesh with the cat's personality. Please respect it. Any other animal shelter will require you to do the same." "I don't care. My son wants to hold the cat. Let him hold it now." "No." "Fine. I'll be waiting in the parking lot for them. Maybe you'll change your tune when you're not on camera." Foster's like, "Excuse me, did you just threaten me and my animals?" "I don't know about that. Maybe I did. Maybe you hand over one of those cats and we'll call it even." "Oh, hell no. Manager." The manager, who was watching from a distance, runs over at the speed of a spry but still elderly gentleman and's like, "What's wrong, fuzzy one?" "Call the police. This lady just threatened to assault our foster and steal her cats." The manager pulls the phone off his belt and immediately calls the cops. Panicking, The woman grabs her still sobbing kid and books it out of the store, abandoning her cart. Manager tells the police to cancel the call because the lady just bounced. So we waited and watched for a few minutes to make sure Karen didn't come back and that our foster was safe. We have Karen's face on camera, so they know to watch for her next time. I hope she does try to adopt from us. It'll be the fastest denial I'll ever have the pleasure of issuing. Hippity hoppity, hand my entitled kid your property. So where do I start? This event happened only hours ago. I was riding on the bus to return home from work. It's a fairly half-hour ride most of the times I'm on my phone. What? Listening to some music while scrolling through Reddit or playing games. Today, I decided to just listen to music and have a snack. I always carry croissants in my bag with strawberry jelly and butter. No more than 2 minutes after I got my croissant out of my bag, I feel a tap on the back of my shoulder. I turn around, and who do I see? The Mad Titan Karen and her little spawn, E. The conversation went something like this. I'm like, yes? Excuse me, young man, but do you think my son can have that? Points at my croissant. He hasn't eaten anything all day, and I've been too busy to get him some food. Sorry, but this is the only one I got. And Entitled Mother cuts me off. Don't make it such a big deal. It's only a dumb croissant. I'm sure you have more in your bag. I can see from here that it's full with stuff. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Either way, it's not really a beeswax. Now, please leave me alone. Entitled kid's like, Mommy, you said I can have a croissant. Yes, honey, but that mean person won't give you a croissant. Turns on me and says, see, you're making my baby sad. Give him the croissant right now. No, I'm not giving your kid my snack. And don't blame this on me. It's your bad parenting you should blame. Teaching your children to take food from strangers? Who in their right mind does that? How dare you talk to me like that? You know I'm old enough to be your mother. Give me that. Entitled Mother then tries to grab either my croissant or my bag off of my hands. She probably thought I had more in, which I didn't. But with that act in place, I pushed Entitled Mother away from me and she fell on the bus floor. And everyone did the dinosaur. She then started yelling of how I assaulted her and that she's gonna sue me. The bus stopped and the driver hopped off his seat and stormed on our way. And you could tell he was not happy. What the hell is going on? He assaulted me. Please call the police. This man is crazy. You assaulted me first. I just defended myself. Yeah, cut the crap. I saw you from the camera. Bus driver in my country have installed security cameras so that they can see what is going on in their bus from a little monitor at their driving seat. But, get off my bus before I call the cops on you. Entitled Mother grabbed her kid, who's now crying and throwing a tantrum, and left the bus. Bus driver asked if I'm okay. I told him yes, and we make a joke of how crazy that woman was to make me laugh. What a nice guy. And our next post by Rye the Red Zombie. Parent angry that school is closed and thinks the students are the cause. Proceeds to insult my family and ask for cash. So last week the provincial government announced that schools will be closed until April 6. What my mum found on a WeChat group chat full of parents of students from my school, translated from Chinese, says, I can't believe that school is closed. How will my children succeed in life? They'll starve. I can't believe it. It's probably the students' fault. I don't believe that the government would do such a thing. I'm going to go have a chat with my children, and you guys should too. Children are so naughty these days, and they're definitely the cause of this no schooling. What the fuck? I'm going to have a word with the superintendent and the premier. My mum showed it to me with a disgusted face. I took a screenshot with it, sent it to my computer, and showed it to my schoolmates on a Google Hangouts group chat full of students from my school. Some of their expressions were amazing. The parent eventually found out and contacted my mum, saying how I was a bully and demanding that I delete the message. You can't delete a Hangouts message. He or she, probably a she, so that's what I'm going to use, proceeded to call me an uneducated Chinese curse and saying that I was probably the one behind the no school and how I owed all the parents an apology for my crimes and that I had to get my phone taken away. I don't even have a phone, and belongs in a reformatory? That tramp went further by demanding our home address so she could call the police on me for cyberbullying. My mum said she was crazy. That bear then called my mother a bunch of Chinese curse words and demanded compensation, i.e. a bucket load of cash amongst other things, and I had to go through public shaming, and saying I hope your family dies from the— oh god, what's wrong with people? So, I took another screenshot of her message and showed it to the same Hangouts chat and the parents' WeChat group. The entitled parent was shamed by other parents, and I had a nice chat with my friends about the entitled parent. Entitled parent went crazy, saying how she was divorced, I can see why, and that they were humiliating her, and that we should be locked up, and that we had to pay her for public shaming her. She even called the cops, but that didn't affect anything because she has no idea where we live. She's now planning to move to Alberta. I'm just amazed at how she was ignorant that China had to stop school as well. Nah man, Alberta's good fam, maybe Newfoundland wants her. I prefer she moves to the tip of Nunavut and becomes a popsicle, or just moves to— oh, stop it. You guys are naughty, stop it. And our next story. Entitled aunt tries to snatch necklace from 2-year-old niece's neck, gets shut down and told never to come back to the house. This is my first time posting here and it's probably going to get buried. English isn't my first language and I'm using mobile, so forgive any mistakes or formatting errors. And this is kinda long, oops. And if somebody could write an appropriate TLDR, I will add it in. This happened to my mum and me a long time ago, although I don't remember anything as I was very young. Before getting to the main story, I'd like to give some backstory on my aunt. Our cast are entitled aunt, cousin, my mum, my dad, and well me. So entitled auntie was the only sister of 7 brothers, so you can imagine how spoilt she was. She would purposefully make her parents buy her jewelry and other expensive items which they couldn't afford and keep a family of 10 afloat. In short, she got everything she wanted, and being an only sister/daughter, had the sole attention and love of her parents and brothers. My dad, especially, really loved his sister and, to be honest, didn't care for my mum at all. He was also the favourite brother of entitled auntie. Entitled auntie was married to a guy who couldn't exactly afford her lavish spending, and she relied on my dad for everything that she wanted. The moment my mum was married into the family, arranged marriage because that's how things work over here, entitled auntie got very jealous. Mainly because of the fact that until then, she was the apple of his eye. And since my dad landed a pretty good job solely due to this hard work and built his own house, not to mention took in his mother and his mentally handicapped younger brother, because no one else could be bothered to look after them, she could easily leech off of him. She would torture my mother for any reason she could find. She wouldn't let dad buy anything for mum. She would make mum do all the work in the whole household, including hers, and even though she didn't stay at the house, she'd bring her laundry from her own house so mum could wash it. When mum was heavily pregnant with me, and obviously wasn't supposed to do any tenuous work, she would still force her to do everything, including heavy lifting. Mum eventually left to her own home a month before her due date, and got the rest she deserved being taken care of by my sweet grandma. After I was born, Mum got a job as a teacher. It was her lifelong dream, even though she had to pay money to the school for it. Again, it's a government job, and this is how it is for everyone here. My mum definitely wasn't cheating, and was qualified for said job. Mum, having no other way, decided to ask Dad for the money required, which he was ready to give until entitled auntie storms in and shuts it down. Eventually, Mum had to borrow money from her sister and land the job. There's tons of stories about her which I couldn't actually believe because I couldn't fathom the possibility that someone could be so entitled. Getting to the main story. After I was born, my dad completely shifted focus from entitled auntie to me because I was and still am his only child. Entitled auntie didn't like this but knew how much Dad wouldn't like it if she did something to his child. As I said, Dad has a lot of siblings, and he was the second youngest, so everyone else was already married and had kids of their own. When I was around 2 years old, Dad's mother decided to buy every grandchild a silver pendant and a special gold one for C, as she was entitled Auntie's kid. Mum bought a nice platinum chain for the pendant with her hard-earned money. My dad then decided to buy a nice diamond pendant because he thought it looked good with the chain and switched out the silver pendant. Entitled Auntie couldn't afford to buy a matching gold necklace for the pendant, so she pestered my dad to buy one for C, to which he complied. This was before she knew what he'd bought for me. To clarify, as far as I know, C isn't an entitled tramp and I like her a lot. A few days later, she comes over with cousin. I was in the cradle, and since we'd just come back from a wedding, I was still wearing the necklace. Entitled Auntie sees this and belittles Mum, thinking it was fake, and brags about how cousin got a lovely gold pendant and matching chain. Mum didn't say anything and went on with her work. Dad came home and tells Entitled Auntie about the necklace during random chit-chat. Entitled Auntie then asks Dad to give her the necklace for cousin. Dad says no and reminds her that she just bought cousin a gold chain. Entitled Auntie loses her crap. I think she just wasn't used to hearing no from Dad. Starts screaming about how her angel deserved it more, and that Dad should give it to cousin, as they didn't have as much money as we did. Dad firmly says no, and tells her even if he wanted to, he couldn't, as the chain was bought by Mum. Entitled Auntie tried to snatch the necklace from my neck, which promptly made me cry, which apparently annoyed her even more. Mum swats her hand away, livid at the fact that she was not only stealing, but hurting her child in the process. To which she had a whole meltdown, bawling about how Dad didn't care for her or cousin at all, and all his attention went to me. Dad stood his ground and said no. Then this person decides to tell Dad, who literally catered to her every wish, how worthless of a brother he is, and how his daughter is going to turn up just like him. I think Dad just snapped at that point. He told her to leave his house, and how he's so tired of dealing with her crap. She then angrily left the house. Next day she came back again, bringing some homemade snacks and sweet talking about how she just had a mood swing, and how she was so sorry. Dad entertained this for a while, thinking that she was genuinely sorry, but then she tried to ask for the necklace again, and the same argument ensued, after which she was kicked out and told to never come back to his house again. I guess after that she understood her place and that Dad wasn't going to bend to her will anymore, especially if it was regarding me. She passed away a couple years later. My mum rejoiced at the passing away of this evil incarnation. That's grim, but okay. You write and spell better than many on Reddit. Good for you. Edit to add, a few more paragraph breaks would help too. Don't mean that in a mean way, but you obviously worked very hard on your English, and I want to help you get even better. Keep up the good work. I always thought how good I did in English only applied to my country's standards. Thank you. You made my day, smiley face. Edit, you're right, the last paragraph especially was way too long. Thank you for the advice. Wow, what a tramp. It's good you no longer have to deal with her. Yes, I know that's a horrible thing to say, but from the sounds of it, you're better off. Not horrible when you think of all the other things that she's done that I haven't mentioned. I'm happy that my mum doesn't have to deal with this anymore. Damn, why didn't I think of things you didn't mention, lol? I'm glad for you and your mum though. Lol, forgot about that one minor detail. One minor detail can change a whole person. That entitled auntie. You don't rely on your siblings to get you nice things. When you're an adult, you get a paying job and buy those nice things yourself. If your brother chooses to spoil you, he can, but don't go begging for more. She only did it to my dad, which was mainly his fault because everyone else put her in her place after the first couple of times. And good riddance. Anyway, that's all for our stories today, guys. Look forward to some more entitled parents in the future because I love dramatizing the stupid ones, as you saw earlier in the day, but I don't want to read full broken English texts, so there's going to be stories I obviously skim over. Anyway, I'd love to know your opinion on a whole bunch of these. There was a Forrest Gump reference if you didn't know about the shrimp earlier in the story. Look out for those references. I'm not going to tell you all the time when they happen. You figure them out for yourself. Anyway, I love shouting out people, I love doing references. I hope you guys had a good day, night, sleep, evening, whatever you're up to today, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Stay awesome, and stay away from entitled parents. Also, stay healthy. Stay indoors, actually. Stay indoors, that's the important one. Bye.